Nobody ever liked the theater kids in high school. They were creepy, weird, and unpopular, antisocial, and you certainly wouldn't elect them as student body president. Nobody would. Nobody wants to be ruled over by people who are so emotionally unregulated and untethered to reality. Unfortunately, in 2026, the reality is that there are a lot of theater kids in our federal government. AOC is one of them. Ilhan Omar is one of them. Every Democrat man is one of them. And even on our highest court in the land, theater kids.
Female empowerment. Sick.
That's a Supreme Court justice. I don't think it's like hit us yet. How profound it is that a Supreme Court justice is LARPing around on stage in Broadway, wearing a Raggedy Ann outfit and saying things like female empowerment and sick. And the weird part about saying things like female empowerment, beyond just the cringe on its face, is that she doesn't actually know what a female is.
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
So she's asked, what is a woman?
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
But she'll scream female empowerment from the stages of Broadway. Ketanji Brown Jackson shouldn't be on the Supreme Court. Let me explain why. Ketanji Brown Jackson was chosen for racial reasons. This is a matter of fact. If it offends you, well, go to the offender, which is Joe Biden, who claimed he would only nominate a black woman. Now, that level of racism against all other candidates, including, I don't know, Asian and Guatemalan women and Canadian women, whatever. Like, it's the left, you know. What about transgender women? Like, this level of discrimination by Joe Biden is exactly what the Supreme Court just ruled against in their Louisiana decision, saying that the federal government can't be racist. In fact, the best way to not be racist is to stop being racist, to stop discriminating against people based on race. This is exactly what Joe Biden did, of course, to horrific results here with Ketanji Brown Jackson, who wildly is the only dissent when it comes to the implementation of the Louisiana decision. So let's explain this. Let me explain this. The Louisiana district that was nuked from space here by the Supreme Court is one of those racially gerrymandered districts. Looks like a Rorschach blot test. Looks like you gave a crackhead a crayon and an 8-ball and a Four Loko and had him draw the district in the back of a shopping cart while rolling through a Walmart parking lot. It's not a great look. It's a racially gerrymandered district. It was found illegal by the Supreme Court and unconstitutional. And now Louisiana wants to redraw their maps because this is a fake map. This isn't real. This isn't right. This is unconstitutional. We should be able to amend this and alleviate this before the election comes around and we get 2 more years of racial gerrymandering. This is a civil rights issue. So the Supreme Court let Louisiana do that in a major decision yesterday. Supreme Court lets Louisiana redistrict ruling take effect immediately, sparking angry words between Alito and Jackson. So these kind of decisions are typically, typically decided 9-0, right? Because the decision's already 6-3. So it's already the law of the land. And you can just let it take effect because it's a question of relief. It's a question of people having their rights taken away, which the Deep South has had its rights taken away. The Deep South has been racially gerrymandered by Democrats that's stealing representation from Southern Americans that they deserve reparations for that. Southern voters, especially Republican voters, deserve reparations for their civil rights being stolen by racist Democrats. Do you understand? In case you're confused, every single justice on the Supreme Court, from Clarence Thomas to Sonia Sotomayor, thinks Ketanji Brown Jackson shouldn't be there. That's because she got absolutely nuked by Samuel Alito. Justice Alito has enough of Justice Jackson. Just ripping to shreds the embarrassing theater kid who doesn't serve any purpose on the court except for probably to deliver 6-3 wins. Because as Mike Davis explained to us, the Supreme Court is very political. And if people like you, then they're more willing to listen to your opinions and listen to the things that you have to say and what you want to have done or your arguments, but nobody likes Ketanji Brown Jackson for obvious
Welcome
reasons.
to the first day of rehearsal.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. This has been a dream of mine.
Dream of yours to be on Broadway. Look at this. She's LARPing. She's LARPing. She doesn't know what the hell she's saying. Justice Alito just absolutely bodies Ketanji Brown Jackson here. The dissent accuses the court of unshackling itself from constraints. It's the dissent's rhetoric that lacks restraint. Justice Alito delivered absolute scorched earth, career-ending rebuke here on behalf of 8 members of the Supreme Court against the one that made this imbecilic dissent. The dissent in the suit levels charges that cannot go unanswered. The dissent would require the 2026 congressional elections in Louisiana be held under a map that has been held to be unconstitutional. The dissent does not claim that it is now too late for the state legislature or the district court to adopt a new map that complies with the Constitution, nor does the dissent assert that it is not feasible for the election to be held under such a map. Instead, the dissent offers 2 reasons for its proposed court of accusation. One, trivial at best, and the other is baseless and insulting. To have Supreme Court justices write decisions like this against each other is really something that we have never seen in modern politics. The court typically acts in jurisprudence and in good old-fashioned, like, berobed merriment, right? And Justice Ginsburg was famous for hosting all the conservative justices, having them out. They were friends. They would go to they'd go to shows together and stuff like that. This is not the case with Ketanji Brown Jackson. She is a racialized radical who was chosen because of her skin color and because she is a dirty, rotten Marxist. And the people on the court, the old timers on the court, hate her. And maybe all of the Supreme Court justices hate her because she doesn't do any help for the liberals on the Supreme Court. The leftists on the Supreme Court are not assisted at all by Ketanji Brown Jackson because she is isolating in her retardation, because her decisions are so stupid, right? It turns out KJP doesn't understand. Look at
I don't understand. I don't understand.
Here we go. Here's the oral arguments highlight.
So I don't understand. Can I just understand? And I don't understand. And so what I don't understand, I don't understand. I don't understand your argument. I'm just trying to understand your answer. I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I guess I don't understand. I don't understand. And I'm just trying to understand. I don't understand, but I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to understand.
It's going to be like that for the rest of our lives. It's the DEI Supreme Court justice. They all realize that KJP is completely incompetent. Even the liberals, the worst president of our lives, Joe Biden, also gave us the worst Supreme Court justice in any way in any of our lives. Thank you, Joe. Samuel Alito, Clarence Thomas just pummeled Ketanji Brown Jackson's dissent. Trivial at best, baseless, and insulting. These are really utterly irresponsible, baseless, and insulting. These are really strong words to be used in a Supreme Court decision. I mean, honestly, it's just like when we've read tons of Supreme Court decisions. No claim to be some smart lawyer or anything like that, but we read these things. It's a remarkable. Holy S. Justice Alito just called out Ketanji Brown Jackson directly for her latest solo dissent. She's had the most lone dissents since joining the Supreme Court. She truly seems to believe that she's voting for things she personally supports instead of the law. KBJ is single-handedly discrediting progressive jurisprudence for a generation. May she stay in the court as long as she wants, writing alone angry dissents. Justice Jackson should remember this advice from reading Justice Alito's response. Never engage in a battle of wits with a Sicilian. First Alito footnote is notable. He says the original case was conferenced 7 months ago. That means there's more than a little smoke to the rumors that liberal justices drug their feet to impact the midterms. And now Justice Jackson is throwing a fit. Majority ruling is fixing that delay. I can absolutely see where Alito is coming from. A certain enjoyment in debating people who are serious, who can argue in good faith, and who operate at a high level. That kind of dynamic that let people like Scalia and Ginsburg be friends in private. For a long time, there was also an unspoken baseline that the highest court in the land, and really the world, you could appoint ideological opposites, but you did not cheapen the institution by lowering the intellectual bar. The auto pen removed this baseline, and it degraded that level of discourse and eroded the professional respect of those relationships possible. That's right. Biden said he's only picked a black woman. There were 3 other contenders. Ketanji Brown Jackson blows up bridges, ensuring a 6-3 conservative victories, more than expected. So thank you. In a way, thank you, Ketanji Brown Jackson, for your service as a black woman.